Hey guys, how's it going? Tank and Crazy H from Mortal Ring Wars here, your home of all things pop culture, action figures, and cool stuff. So how is everybody? Been a couple weeks since we did a
Yeah.
little show, hasn't it? We got some cool action figure pickups to show you. But as you know, we always take a trip down the news lane and maybe we'll talk about some things that's been going on in the news. Besides the fact that Crazy H got another scholarship. Congratulations to him. That's number 3. He's kicking butt, man. Any words of wisdom for these people out there?
Yeah, not really. Just liking where things are going.
Yes.
The odds are ever in my favor.
The odds are ever in his favor, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the big thing on the news plate is they are re-releasing Endgame with never before seen footage to the figures. To the figures, yeah. I got figures on the brain to the theaters.
They're taking a play out of the Lord of the Rings book, extended editions with deleted scenes and all
I
that.
think they're like, we want to beat the worldwide box office of Avatar book.
Well, to be fair,
But
I want them to beat
well,
Avatar.
I do too. But does
Can
it
you
really
explain that to me?
count?
Okay,
They
like,
didn't.
like I was, very young when Avatar came out, like 8 years old. Like, what was the big fuss about that movie?
Honestly, I don't know because I liked it, but I didn't think it was, oh my god, the best.
Well, the most
I think it was the effects.
Yeah, I was thinking the
But
most I could think about was the fact that it was a predominantly CGI movie with like very few, but like that's it in like design stuff was the only thing that I really, because if I remember the story was kind of bland. Like
yeah, it's
story,
I mean,
a
like I said,
soldier
it's a
and
good
like
movie,
I don't
but
know.
I can't. It just blows my mind all the great movies and all the times of movie making that it would be number one. What are you doing?
What am I
Oh,
motioning at?
you're going to the Lord of the Rings because it's your favorite.
11 Oscars.
But yeah, man,
11.
I don't know, but it's just cool. It's coming back out. We'll probably see this, but there's apparently going to be a real big Stan Lee tribute at the end of it, so
Makes sense.
that'll be really really nice to see. Because I think we all miss him and can't thank him enough for the joy he's brought into our lives.
I just want to say about him, isn't it just a funny thing how like he was a guy, back when he was doing what he was doing, and at the time, like it didn't really seem like much, making the comics and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and once he finally started, Fantastic Four, X-Men, all that stuff came along, like I just find it really interesting how much everything's grown in that
Oh,
time,
yeah.
and like how many people it's affected, and like
It's an awesome time if you're a fan of this stuff
it
to
is.
be alive because now
I was born at like the
they
perfect
can finally
viewing
bring it
before
all
even
to
settled.
the screen and
Because
it'll look
like
like how you envision it in your mind.
when
It's
you were a
really cool.
kid, things were only just starting to take off. So
Yep.
you got to basically witness everything like from
Yeah, a
its.
lot of that started with Star Wars. I mean, when it
I
came
mean,
out, it was
comics
like,
had been out a little bit before, and Star Trek
well, I'm
was.
talking about like film
But yeah,
wise.
once when films, yeah,
You know,
Star Wars was the first big thing that
it's real cool. And another person that's doing a Stan Lee tribute is Kevin Smith for his Jay and Silent Bob reboot that he just got done filming. He's going to have a Stan Lee tribute because Stan was really close to Kevin. In fact, he asked to see Kevin before he passed, so that was really cool. And he's like the pop culture
I was like, God bless Kevin Smith. I mean, my
that
gosh,
helps
oh,
keep everything alive. So that's going to be
that
cool to
guy's
see
great.
that too. Guess who just got their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Who's that?
I'll give you a hint. Holy action figures Batman.
Really, Burt Ward?
Burt Ward. Yep, Burt Ward is now on Hollywood
Did
Walk
Adam
of
West
Fame.
have his? There.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
so that is pretty cool. It just
That's what he
happened.
should.
There's a big protest going on right now to get Carrie Fisher's star on the walk. Well, I couldn't believe it wasn't there already. But they have some kind of goofy rule that they got to be dead 5 years, but they put people as alive on there all the time. So there's this lady that's actually dressed up like her,
Huh.
and she's carrying a sign around, getting people to sign a petition. That so hopefully they'll overturn that
Lots
rule,
of
and Carrie
petitions.
will get on the thing that I'm not for petitions on like all this crazy stuff for Game of Thrones Endgame and any other thing they're doing petitions for, but this is definitely one that's
Last
worthwhile.
Jedi was a big one. Remember, people were petitioning to
Oh,
remake
yeah.
the Last Jedi.
Yeah, anything Star Wars, they're all petition. Okay, and
Controversial time.
figure news, and this man's excited about this. 3-0.
It figures.
Yep, has some upcoming figures. You want to elaborate on that?
This started yesterday. 3-0 on Facebook or the social media platforms announced and showed a prototype photo of a Bran Stark 6-scale figure. You know, from the season 8. You know, more recent seasons when he's in his wheelchair and all and has the fur get up on. But then I happened to be looking through the comments that people had been putting on, and one thing I gotta say is I really am loving these companies, like them I know, and like Asmus I know, and like even like Sideshow. Like I like that they like to establish like communication and like have like a working relationship with their consumers because they want to improve their work to the best of their best so that, you know, the people buying their products are happy and that they get, you know, money in return or whatever. But like I just really appreciate that they're not really taking the like approach. They're just some corporation that's just out for like, you know what I mean?
Care, man.
They care about
Yep.
it. So I'm looking through the comments of this thing, and I'm seeing all kinds of really good stuff that they're working on. From what I can recall off my head, I hear that they're working on an updated Jaime Lannister from later seasons.
Cool.
In his probably in his armor, like his lion armor. And then I heard that they're doing a season 8 Arya, so that's really exciting. Where she would probably be having like her kind of leather.
Once you have the slick back hair and all.
Probably, and like the my favorite accessory of hers in the recent stuff is like the kind of side cape that she has. You know what I'm talking about. And all that, so she'll have an updated version of that. And then I saw that they're also currently working on a Tormund. And I was like, wow,
that'd be awesome.
I'd love... He was on my top 10 list of people I'd like to see done. And then I, just because I was, you know, intrigued by this idea of like, oh, cool, they're responding to people. Like, maybe I was like, maybe I can get them to respond. So, you know, I typed up a little thing. I love the work I'm seeing you guys do. And I said that I hope to see a early Cersei done sometime in the future. From the early seasons when she'd have like the red gown and the long, you know, hair. And they actually replied to me and said that they were going to send feedback to their
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
developing board. I was like, that's awesome. I was like, we could, because I'm just saying, it makes sense. We've got an old Cersei and Tyrion and a Jaime on the way, and we have a young Tyrion and Jaime. So why not get a young Cersei, where she's,
right.
I'd say in her more iconic look too, you know, with a wine glass or something. Like, I'd love to see that done. And then, like in my top 10, I just got a bunch of other people, like, you know, Melisandre I'd like to see done, like characters that are dead.
Yeah, they do her really cool.
Dario, I'm a big Dario Naharis guy for some reason. Just one other thing that maybe bring up, I don't know if you got it, but Star Ace.
I do. Got Star Ace. Yep, good.
They have just announced
mention it.
that they are continuing. They've done a little bit of work with Tarantino films, and thank goodness they're doing a Beatrix Kiddo, the Angry Bride from Kill Bill. The reason I'm so happy about that is because I mentioned to him that there was a 6-scale done of her before by a company called Eminimi. But they are extremely hard to find, and when you do find them, they are very, very expensive for some reason. I hear that they're customs, but they did like 3 different Beatrixes and an Irvin Rishi. And I think the one that they did looks a tad bit more like her and has the sculpted hair, but this new one that they've unveiled looks great, I'd say.
Yeah, it did. The pictures really look nice.
I'd love to definitely be able to get a hold of it someday, because she is by far one of my favorite film characters ever.
Oh yeah, the movies were awesome. You know, you can't go wrong with old Quentin.
They're probably my favorite of his movies. Some of them, and that's saying a lot because he's amazing filmmaker. But yeah, and then another exciting thing I heard on their site. If anyone doesn't know, I got scrolling through their like site to see what all news I had missed, and they said that they're the big producers of the Harry Potter 6 scales, and they are going to be... There's our cat.
There's Tori making her appearance, as she does on every video we ever have.
Yep. Actually segues really well into this, because...
You want to be a star, Tori.
It's animal.
Not that we were ever going to be, but...
But anyways, they're going to be doing a Professor Remus Lupin 6 scale.
Yes, that's where you said that.
With an alternate head that is going to be modeled after, like, he's transforming into the werewolf.
Ow.
I'll still say it to this day, that sequence in the movie where he transforms, it still gives me just, like, the chills.
Yeah,
watching
it is kind of weird.
I don't know why. Because it's like, think about it, the CG's
I think because you wasn't
okay.
expecting it and just out of nowhere there it is,
No.
you know?
No, what I love is just they come out of that freaking hole, and then everything just suddenly goes.
Yep,
then
goes
the
crazy.
moon comes out, and then everything goes. But yeah.
Like, oh.
And then also, one more thing that just reminded me of this. Asmus, remember the news that they put out?
Yes.
They're introducing a new line of sort of updated, I think, bigger figures from the Lord of the Rings. The first they're doing is a Gandalf the Grey, and then a Gandalf the White, with just updated kind of sculpts, you know, more kinks worked out, I think. And also, I've seen photos that there's a Theoden in the works, and I'm excited for that. He's like one of my favorite Lord of the Rings characters. And I would love to
Yeah, I
get
mean, it'd be awesome to get an awesome one.
and then I think a Galadriel could be in the works too, hopefully. Maybe Azog. There's tons of good ones coming.
We can only hope.
Mm-hmm. And then they've just, Sideshow's just unveiled.
Now, if we just had a money tree.
Yeah, I know, really. And Sideshow,
Yeah.
just unveiled that Star-Lord from Infinity War with the, the bubble gun and the portals in the feet. Like, it's an exciting time in the 6-scale world,
Interesting
We'll see what we can do.
tidbit, and this is in no way relation to anything you just said.
Figures.
It came out
That's good. Came out.
who was in the original talks to play Batman before Michael Keaton. And it's just hilarious to me because I can't even believe they were considering this. And I just can't picture it. Because, of course, I could have been wrong. He could have knocked it out of the park. But do you know who it is?
Mm-mm.
This fool, Steven Seagal. They actually had
Action
talked-
star Steven Seagal?
Yeah, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
I'm Batman. I couldn't imagine it. Yeah. Because he has that smooth. I guess nobody would figure out he is because he talked like this. I'm Steven Seagal.
Well, Christian Bale didn't. And
And I'm Batman. Yeah, but he was more like this.
Yeah, and you all still seem to like
Yeah.
him, so I think you're all too hard, Michael Keaton. You know that?
I'm not hard on
Yes,
him.
you
No,
are.
I'm not.
You are both so
All
hard.
I've simply said is that he just what I've always pictured Batman
That's
being
right,
a bigger guy.
But remember, there's an argument to me that makes his character better because you don't
We're a whole
suspect
picture
him
not
as much.
suspecting. Right, I see what you're saying. I mean,
I will say, I rewatched Spider-Man: Homecoming the other day, and I was watching my mom, and I told her, I was like, I love the fact that they cast the villain as a guy who was one of the first people to play a superhero in a movie. Because, after he was the second guy, or the guy after, Christopher Reeves when he did Superman. I mean, yeah, Adam West had his show and all, but I mean, in terms of movies, I thought that was a really nice kind of thing that they did.
But yeah, so, that would have been interesting, though. I just thought that would be an interesting tidbit that somebody might find humorous. And then Mark Hamill, he has confirmed that he will be a spirit ghost in the new Star Wars. Like, any of us didn't see that coming a mile away.
No.
Anyway, but he actually could. I can't believe
I
it.
just-
I think he's finally just said, screw it, I'm going to say what I want. He probably got all his stuff done. He's like, well, what are they going to do, throw him out of the movie now? So
Speaking of that, I don't know what they're gonna do in this new movie. There's literally so many loose ends, and
I want to see Anakin the Spirit Ghost is what I want, but of course, all the Hayden haters out there will disagree with me on that.
Wait, how would you the Haydeners?
Yeah,
the Haydeners.
the
That makes them
Haydeners.
sound like they're fans, but And then remember, he's Chucky right now too, Mark Hamill, and that's a pretty
I'm
good
sure he'll
casting
be
choice in
smooth
my opinion.
as that.
If you're gonna do guy after Wormtongue, Mark
But it's
Hamill's
weird
a good choice.
because the old guy, Wormtongue,
Brad Dourif.
he wants a series. So apparently he's still involved with it somehow. So I don't understand how it went from him to Hamill and that he's still going to try to be involved in a series. So, did you see, speaking of Star Wars, that there's a new Thrawn novel coming out? They had the San Diego Comic-Con folks unveiled the cover. It's called Treason. And if you get a chance, we got a Facebook group we've had about 7 years now. It's all kinds of stuff like we all like. Check out our group or look it up. I'm sure you'd find it, but if you don't want to join us, but we'd love to have you. But there's an awesome picture. I'm hoping this is the picture of the cover of the book because it's really beautifully done. So check it out if you guys want to. Did you read all the?
No, I haven't
So
started.
you
I
you
want to get
haven't,
there
but you
down the
haven't read
road.
them.
He's one of my favorite villains, though. Like even from the little bit of him we got in Rebels when the canon was updated, he's a
Oh
very
yeah,
intriguing
I
villain.
think it'd be great if somebody done him on the big
I
screen
just
sometime.
love the way that they approach that. The character.
I'm not get done enough other blue people. They surely could do another
That's
blue.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
I just worry that like this is just. I know this is kind of a mini rant sort of thing, but I worry that like people are beginning to lose awareness of the old EU, like prior to Disney, because there's lots of kind of funny, ridiculous stuff in it, but there's lots of cool things in it, you know, and it's still, I think, a very important, and fundamental part of Star Wars history, like, as we know it. I mean, I like to think that we all like. There's people out there who like just kind of say, in my mind, the story happened this way based off of like stuff that we've been given, so they can pick and choose what happened in there, like. But I was thinking about Thrawn. Like Thrawn was like a really integral part of the events following, the Return of the Jedi, because in the new canon we got the First Order, sure, which is basically just Empire Part 2. But what happened here was that like, once they defeated the Emperor, Death Star blows up. We were talking about it the other day. Like there's still fleets and fleets of Star Destroyers out there and stormtroopers. Like there's waves of them. So Thrawn was the next dude to get in line in charge, and he's this cunning, like strategist.
Right.
It's like really hard to beat. So that's as much as I've known, but still that like I also like that he's got like a thing for like antiquities and stuff. Like remember how he had his office in Rebels and he had all of like the art pieces.
Yeah, that was really cool.
He's like just intriguing.
So,
That's what I'm saying. It's still important.
Hopefully we'll see him before it's over with on the big screen. That'd be nice.
The original EU awareness.
Speaking of Star Wars, by the way, as most of you've seen, I'm sure the Star Wars. I call it Star Wars Land, but what's it called?
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge.
On the planet Batuu.
Has very successul opening and everything.
My friend Paul's there right now.
But just
Paul.
a little, for a mere $25,000, you can get your own working R2-D2 units.
Oh yeah.
They're Droid Factory.
Yes, we've seen.
And they've sold 4 of them so far.
Really?
Yeah.
4 people were willing to pay that much.
So that's kind of like crazy.
I mean, I'd love to get one, but the useful things you could get.
I shared the story on Facebook, and I'll take 2. Let me write you a check for that. We just
that place looks amazing.
Money coming out the bunghole. Just
right.
Oh yeah, I know it looks awesome.
It looks great.
You haven't checked it out? There's hell's videos on YouTube of people.
Some really good walkthroughs.
And that. Did you see the story I shared in our Morning Wars group about J.J. Abrams?
Not J.J.
Him and Henry Abrams, which is, I'm assuming, is that his brother?
Possibly.
Anyway, they just put out their own Spider-Man. It's called Spider-Man #1 comic.
Oh.
And apparently they did everything on it. And I don't know if he did the story and his brother did the art, or if there's other artists involved. But it's out now. The cover looks really awesome. It's Spidey swinging with Mary Jane, and it looks really cool. But I thought that was interesting that he's gotten into the comic. I guess he wasn't making enough money as it was.
I've happened a couple times. I can't remember off the top of my head who else it was with, but
we're winding down here. Did you see that Tom Holland wants a Spideyverse movie with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield? Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
It would be interesting, certainly.
I know there's talk about them being Uncle Ben or something there for a while, and but that would be very interesting. Comment below if you think that would be cool, guys. To have all 3 Spider-Men do a Spider-Man movie.
I'm sure for me and lots of people my age, Tobey Maguire has a really special place in our hearts as Spider-Man, because there's just something about because we were all very young at the time when those movies were coming out. Here's the thing, I know the third one's the lesser of the 3, but that was the one that I remember distinctly seeing all the time when I was a kid, and always
I loved all the movies.
The second one's just really good. I can't get over
I thought it's my favorite, but definitely definitely it would be cool if they did, brought all that back to life after all these years, and to continue, which is what's turning out to be Keanu Reeves a year.
Yeah.
Did you see he's in talks with to be a character in Marvel?
I heard it was Adam Warlock, but I don't.
I've heard of several different
Guy's
things.
killing it right now. With
But yeah, man,
everything.
he's in everything in it, and he's a great guy. So that's and he's had a lot of bad happen in his past, and I'm glad to see it. His present is really going nice. And last couple bits, didn't pay much of mind to the MTV Awards. I know Captain Marvel got some kind of for the best stunts or whatever.
Didn't Endgame get some stuff?
Best action. Robert Downey Jr. got best hero.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know if Endgame got any others or not. And then they're like a lifetime achievement award. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson got it. But
I have a feeling over time Endgame's gonna really get some
I hope so. I hope it gets some.
I don't mean by fans. I mean by the movie people or whatever. Because.
Cause especially if you look at it as a 10-year body of work or what it took for them to plan and move up to it,
You see, when Infinity War was coming out, lots of people were saying that was the culmination. And, I mean, it kind of was, but at the same time, it seemed a lot more like they were just getting people in their places for Endgame. And then I feel like Endgame was the culmination.
Yeah.
I feel like it has a lot more work to be called the
I'm
culmination.
interested in the new footage and all that. And I'll leave you on a Game of Thrones note because did you see where Lena said that she wanted a better death for Cersei.
She said two things. What was
she's been the first that's come and spoke out on any of the
what was the other thing she says? There was something else that she said about the finale, but I can't remember what it was. That pertained to either the way her character ended or whatever, and I think even though she didn't say it, I think that she wanted what most fans did, that she wanted a better comeuppance for somebody to get, for probably Arya to get her vengeance on her. But again, it's understandable why they didn't take Arya that route, send her off in that final thing with, the Hound, So, I can understand why they decided not to do it, but, it is just kind of a blow to fans out there.
But, all in all, I still think it was all right.
Yeah.
For a rush job, they did all right. So, can't complain. Well, it wouldn't be more Ring Wars, as you guys know, without some figure pickups. So, we will segue into them. We've got a few kind of Star Wars heavy this time. And a couple pops. No new Marvel Legends this time, though. I think we showed you guys everything we got in the last one.
Yeah, we haven't really. I mean, we've got this.
I got some stuff ordered, and the stuff we've been looking for.
We've got, the Spider-Man Homecoming wave is starting to come out. The second Endgame that's got. Yep. We're most interested, of course, in MCU, War Machine, Shuri. I want Rescue a lot, and then the Professor Hulk figure. But Better Ray Bill too could be a, and then. So we got those to look forward to. They
had pictures of the classic X-Men series that they're doing.
The Storm is exciting.
Yeah, she looked really good. But no new Legends this time, so I'll turn it over to the figure man, and we will show you what we've acquired. You didn't bring up your Tyrion, did you?
No, the first pops, I got these 3 the other day, and just FYE has a great deal right now. Buy 2 get 1 75 off. And I got 2 that we were looking for, and then I was looking for a third, and I happened to notice a Tyrion Lannister pop from an old one from season 2 when he was in his Battle of the Blackwater armor, and he's got the scar of his face. And also, that just reminds me, I was rewatched that episode recently just because I was in the mood to, and it's a very it's one of my favorite episodes in the series probably. And I was telling him at the very towards the beginning of the episode, right before the battle starts, the people in King's Landing start ringing their war bells, and Davos is on the ship with the son, and the son says something about the bells, and Davos makes a remark and says something like, "In my experience, the ringing of a bell doesn't always mean surrender." And then my mom was the one who pointed out that was the
Really?
direct foreshadowing. Yeah, she was the one who noticed it, and I was like, "Oh man, you're right." I was like, Davos warned everybody.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. Just when the ships got put into a blaze by wildfire. Think of it like that too. You can make all kinds of weird connections with this.
And not Wildfire Tommy Rich.
Mm.
Old 70s, 80s wrestling reference. Anyway, what did we get? What did we pick? Did we pick up?
You'll get your odd wand one.
What did we pick up?
Here.
It's not odd. Well, I grew up on this man. I had to get Johnny Cash. My dad was a huge fan. Grew up listening to him. Kind of the rebel country guy.
He seems like tougher Elvis to me.
He was like tough Elvis.
Elvis was like the pretty boy.
I think were kind of. I think they were friends. I know there's pictures of them together and stuff, where they were actually on the same bill. So, but yep, had to have Johnny. Rest in peace, Dad. Miss you, love you. But this is
and Johnny.
And Johnny, and both of them. Right. But was glad to add him to my musical pop collection. I'm starting to acquire quite a few of them that have come out. But it's weird. I don't have to have them all because there's some I just don't like.
Johnny Ash.
That I don't want.
Yeah.
But I've been getting a bunch of them, so really like to get grabbing him. And
actually, I feel like if you take him out of the box, he would look like Elvis.
Yeah, he does look Elvis like in the black with his little curl and.
That's interesting.
All that, but.
That have people over. Oh, is this an Elvis? No, Johnny Cash.
No, it's Johnny Cash.
Oh.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. So next pop got coming up.
Had to have it.
Exciting one.
Had to have it.
A good old F-Fight exclusive, Chubby Thor.
Yeah, Husky Thor, as I like to call him.
Husky
Thor. I think us big guys can be sensitive about these issues.
Are.
Yeah, Husky Thor.
You sound like that. What was the name of that comedian? The Hispanic guy that was always big on the donuts. What was his name? Because he always makes jokes about that, wouldn't he?
Like going to the Husky section in Sears, yeah.
Was it him or the
Kevin Smith talked about it. I know that.
Who was the one? Maybe it was that other one that you used to show me that did the buffet skit. The one that said there's the 5 levels of fat.
Yeah. It was I forget his name, but I know who you mean.
It just reminded me of that whenever you said about it. That's a better term.
I'll probably get the Lebowski one too, but I definitely had to have the one in the. I'm trying to get the Oddball Avengers.
I'd like to get Rescue in this too.
Rescue me.
I'm a weird Pepper Potts fan for some reason. I don't know.
I don't know. You have a weird infatuation with her.
No, it's just I think I don't know. I feel like she doesn't get enough credit as a character. And
as you know, it's the Mystery Lady's favorite actress.
Oh yeah. Actress and character are 2 different things.
This is true.
Think of it that way. But I don't know. I feel like she doesn't get enough credit as being a pretty strong character. I mean, she puts up with Tony's crap all the time, and then in the end, she's a really committed, wife to him. Just if you just look at her story as a whole, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just I think she deserves to be up there.
I have no problem with
just because she doesn't go around swinging a sword or shooting guns doesn't mean that she's not strong. I don't know. I just kind of have I got a thing for characters that aren't talked about a lot for some reason. That's why so many of my favorites are kind of oddballs. I don't know.
It's all good.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And what else did we get? Oh, this is where we get into the Star Wars.
We got 7 Black Series.
7
Black Series because most of them are related to the prequels, and that's what I'm excited for. I'm a prequels fan because again. Born in that time, that's my generation.
You know me, I have nothing against the prequels.
Yeah, I get it. I just hope it can be at least appreciated for the story. This guy.
We were a little late in the game getting this guy, but thank God we finally got him.
The General Grievous, with his nice red cape, and, he's had an interesting character history, because, he was introduced back on the Clone Wars, cartoon, from, between episodes 2 and 3, and in that, he is like amazing. Like he was good, you know. Okay, and you know,
You're talking about the original cartoon, yeah.
back in that old, which that's another very underrated thing
Yeah,
from Star Wars.
definitely a
That
cool thing
right
to pick
there.
up. Glad we got a copy of it.
But in that, they make him like the most intimidating, just like almost scary robotic thing ever. Like when he
Very sinister.
he kills the Shaggy Master, whose name is Shaggy, actually.
That's pretty smooth.
Yeah, it is funny. And then you know he like holds his own and kills like a few others. It's just amazing. And you know Matt Wood did his work off of you know his voice in the later Clone Wars and the movie too. I think. I just always thought it was funny that they used his George Lucas's cough when he had a cold for the character.
Yeah, definitely cool part of the lore.
Let me ask you, as a person that was there,
As a person,
was there a big reaction on the big screen whenever Obi-Wan was getting ready to fight him and the 4 arms popped off and he did like the spin with the sabers? Did that get a big reaction?
I think it did. I think everybody got a little bit of
like I feel like I was going to say I feel like back in the day that was kind of an impressive.
I mean, I don't think
thing to
anybody
see.
stood up and cheered or anything. Of course, around here, you know.
Well, no, but I don't expect that. I mean, just like a few gasps or something. Like, was it like a reaction? Like I always thought.
I just thought it was cool.
I always thought that Darth Maul whipping out the double-bladed lightsaber would get that kind of reaction too. You know what I mean? Because there was always.
Well,
like,
I told you the biggest reaction for the first
For the
prequel
first movie
was when R2 came up on the
ship.
and fixed it because
think
everybody was
about
like,
it.
"Oh, we finally got to see R2."
Well, think about it. Up until that point, apart from Obi-Wan, but he was young Obi-Wan, so he didn't feel quite the same. The R2 was the first original trilogy thing that
Right.
they'd seen, you know, so that explains why, the reaction to that was probably so. But I was thinking about the lightsaber thing again, like, I feel like that reaction what happened in Return of the Jedi, too, when Luke landed on the thing and the lightsaber landed in his head and he hit the button and it was green, like, because the green one hadn't been seen before, so
Right.
it kept, kind of up in the ante with that. But yeah, I feel free to ask you those things because you were there.
I was
there.
there.
Whenever those movies were out and you got to see those reactions from people firsthand.
Back when I used to walk 10 miles both ways in 10 feet of snow with 2 coal buckets on my shoulders full of coal to light the family
That's way
fire.
back. Oh my goodness.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's way back.
What else do we have?
I thought it was something else, but I can't remember what it was. So now we get into the newer ways. Also, that said D1 on it, so Deluxe 1. Maybe we'll get more.
Deluxe
That could be
1.
exciting. But from the newest, newest to main Black Series wave, it has not hit around stores here, so he had these on.
Yeah, I had to order them because we never got them. We seen the droid, which we picked up at GameStop, and we seen what's her name that's probably still hanging there, isn't she? Admiral.
No, I didn't see her last time.
No, somebody must have picked her up.
But yeah, we got the Battle Droid already, and we didn't get Holdo or Mud Trooper Han, but we got the other 3, who are, in my opinion, the best of this wave. First off, we get Mr. Dryden Voss from Solo. I still say those daggers of his are 2 of my favorite.
Yeah, they're cool weapons.
Accessories.
He's such a cool actor too.
Paul Bettany. No, okay, so I can bring this up here. So recently we watched a very an interesting film that does not have a very good reputation called Mordecai. Yes, I'd seen ads years ago, and I was like, this looks like a really kind of quirky, weird movie. I'm like, what is this? And it's got him, Johnny Depp, Aljo, and who was the other one? Ewan McGregor. It had a whole bunch of good freaking people in it. Box art is cool in that. But I was like, what the heck is this? So I skipped out on it for it. So then I got thinking about it, looked up the reviews, and I was like, oh, it's got really crappy reviews. And I was like, screw it. It looks enticing. I want to watch it. So we found and watched it.
Enticing.
And I will say, Mr. Paul Bettany made that movie. He was probably the best thing in the entire film.
He kept getting accused for getting women, or he did get
No,
the women,
he did get the women. That was the
yeah.
running gag with him. But he was just real nice. His name was Jock, and he played Johnny Depp's kind of bodyguard, or he called him a manservant. And he just was like a real polite guy, and just but he was also just could beat the crap out of anybody. It was good.
Trying to get so there's no glare on it.
He worked really well in Solo as kind of I guess you could say the decoy villain.
Yeah.
Because he was, but I enjoyed
Yep,
it.
we're glad to add him to the collection.
And then we continue. They just get better from here, folks.
Better
Mr.
and better.
Mace Windu with his
You think it's this boy?
this trademark purple lightsaber. It always gets me is in Phantom Menace whenever like Qui-Gon comes back to him, he's like, so the boy is to be trained, and he just gives him this dead like stare in the face and just goes, no. And just like and then Qui-Gon gets all like, why? And he puts his like hands on his waist. I heard that he wants his purple lightsaber back, actually.
Definitely a great likeness too.
Yeah, but it was like an article
Samuel.
that said like he wanted it back or something.
Mystery Ladies chimed in.
Maybe he means like, you know.
There's a smooth portrait on the back. I really do like how the portraits are on these. I mean, as simple as the Black Series boxing is, the portraits are very
I noticed
nice.
an interesting detail of his. I saw a clip from Attack of the Clones the other day. I think it was just him fighting Django. It came up in something or something. I was watching it, and something I never realized. You know that there's that shot where like Django's firing at him and he's like deflecting the bolts as he's running towards him. Well, someone in the comments of it pointed out that if you look closely, as he deflects the bolts of the blaster, it hits battle droids like over on the sides of him. So it's almost like he like uses the force to like deflect the bolt. Like no, I'm talking like he hits it this way and it hits a droid that's like backwards over here. Like it's really cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at it.
And something else just to point out if anyone hasn't noticed, for that shot where Boba holds up the helmet of Jango's helmet and expect the head to fall out, just rewatch the scene where the head gets cut off, because you'll see two shadows fly. One's of the helmet and one is of the head falling out. So the head is not in the helmet whenever Boba picks it up, so you don't have to see the freaking decapitated corpse of what's his face.
Decapitated corpse.
I always just think when he's in that scene and doing it, he's just going, vengeance, vengeance, like, But
now the cream of the crop.
Yeah, we get to the most exciting
the
one.
The perky one herself.
Good old Padme Amidala. And probably one of my favorite costumes of hers. Again, I dig the cape on this one as well.
It's definitely my favorite too. I love the statue
she's
of it.
Probably my favorite character
that I have
in the prequels. You know that?
Really?
Yeah, I mean I love Natalie Portman as an actress as it is, but like she's just a really, again, another thing Clone Wars did justice. They really gave her a lot more. I mean, Natalie already did her great things for her, in the movies, but whenever Catherine Tabor came along and voiced her, she sounded was really well done.
Can't wait for the Clone Wars to start back up.
Mm-hmm. If that's already.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's her and her.
We're in a really interesting period with all this right now. All of the big stuff is kind of past, and now we're getting into this new age of exploration, seeing a what's next sort of deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With all the Disney streaming service stuff that's going to be going on.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's just so much out there now. It's crazy.
You can wonder what the next big things are going to be coming in the future. What movies?
I know. By the time I'm dead and gone, which I hope will be a while, but you never know.
When certain people are my age now, what kind of movies are going to be in their pinnacle?
Yeah, when you're my age, what will it be like?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
It's very strange.
Crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else we got?
Well, I ordered this in this way so it could go right from her to him.
Yes, because if you've seen on my last video of my toy hunt, you already know that I got this next figure.
Mm-hmm. These next three.
Well, I seen them that day, but I didn't pick the other two up till later on that day.
Really?
When you begged me to, remember you begged me to go back and get them?
I didn't.
You did.
I just said they could still be there. I didn't tell you to go get them.
You schemer, you.
Learn from the best.
Well, that's true.
I'll put it that way.
I can't deny it.
So we just found the next wave of the archive wave of these. The only one we unfortunately could not get was Darth Maul. But I mean, you said you didn't really want it for you, but I would have liked to have one for me to have loose because it's.
I'll probably pick him up on Steam again, but I mainly was focused on Anakin that day because I didn't have a good Anakin.
Yeah, he's because he's older.
Figure.
We'll be unboxing these whenever we're done here, I guess, because all the others are unboxed over there. But yeah, so we got this Anakin to show you. Also, we were rewatching some episodes of Clone Wars the other day, and we got talking about how amazing Matt Lanter is as Tim in the show.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Like, talk about just totally redeeming the portrayal of a character.
Such a much more.
Like I said, I feel like back in the day, pre-prequels,
sterner, tougher Anakin.
Like, I feel like back, pre-prequels, whenever all we had was Vader, and you kept hearing the name Anakin, and kept hearing these things all about them. His portrayal is what people
you pictured
probably
in your head,
thought,
yeah,
like
exactly.
Anakin was this heroic, stoic guy. You know what I mean? Like that, just because the reputation prior to him was he's either a cheery little kid that I think is really stupid people, because that's the whole point, right? They're trying to make him as innocent as they can to make his turn to the dark side all the more tragic, or as like a whiny brat. Revenge of the Sith him kind of got there, but by that point, lots
right.
of people have considered it tainted, So, once Slander came along and he did his thing, I was just very pleased with how,
But I think they did him great.
Mm-hmm.
And again, some decent art for just a basic, black and gray, I guess, boxing.
So next up, we get to this Yoda.
Master Yoda.
His cane. What do you think happened to Yoda's cane?
Who knows? The actual one they used?
Well, either. That's actually true out there. I mean, that one's probably off in storage somewhere, but in the movie, it's
it
probably...
should be in a museum,
Yeah, it could be in a hut. He could have just be left there in the hut. There is a good question. Once Yoda died in the movie,
what became his hut?
Did Luke take all of the stuff that was his? Did
know.
it get auctioned off to the
I don't
local
think he had much, but the necessities there anyway.
He had a blanket and stuff.
I could use his blanket in his pot.
a little bowl of stew or whatever. But
probably got his flashlight back.
And speaking of his hut, you do realize that the reason he has this snake accessory with him was because there was snakes in his hut.
Mm-hmm.
It's in one of the shots.
Yeah, because he moved the one out of Luke.
Yeah,
the
bowl. Yeah, I think it was one of these kind of, what are they called, coral snakes or milk snakes or whatever.
But yeah, happy. I didn't have a Black Series Yoda yet.
No, surprisingly not. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that I'm
I'll have to get one.
I'm a junkie when it comes to Star Wars, the planets, and Dagobah has some really interesting stuff going on in terms of, I mean, you remember in the movies you see those bat things fly by and there's the monster movie, but the most interesting thing that I saw, and the idea got kind of recycled in Rebels, but it was those big spider things.
Oh,
They
yeah.
originally originated on Dagobah, but what happened was they have this interesting life cycle where they lived part of their life as a spider, and then at a certain point, they would plant themselves in the ground, and it would grow into a tree.
Really, that's weird.
So, I guess the legs of the spider became
an
roots.
actual tree spotter.
Yeah, and the back of it grew up, and then babies came out. It was really strange, but an amazing idea. And then another thing I heard about when looking at some old EU stuff a while back was that an unseen thing from their training on the planet was in this one comic. There's this droid bounty hunter that Luke comes across when he's training, and he has the chance to kill him or destroy him, and he doesn't. And then he kind of gets thinking, I wonder if that was a test by Yoda or something. And I was like, that's kind of
Interesting.
And speaking of being a junkie for things, I am also a huge junkie when it comes to armor and have a big appreciation of it. So, our final one, of course, is the Scout Trooper. He got one, and I have one. There was a second one there. I've asked, since we didn't find the Darth Maul, if I could go ahead and get the second one.
Yep. And with that, they were cleaned out.
Yep. So that means
yet to be seen.
So that means you said a buddy you knew got one of the Darth Mauls, right?
Yeah.
And then that means that...
Shout out John Crofus.
That means
sure he got
that
one Darth
the
Maul,
other Yoda and the other Anakin and the other Darth Maul were all taken by somebody else. We have a lot of elusive...
collectors that we
mystery
don't know
collectors in this area, and we don't know who they are, and we're always competing with them. you know, me as Mr. E Mini.
I wish we did know who they are because
Yeah, like to connect with them and stuff. Like, you know, we could, you know, make a, you know, little, like, it's like elusive. Like, are they in your community that you have on the thing? Or are they not?
I don't know.
But it's like it upsets me.
I know one other guy on there that collects Marvel Legends, but I don't know, what a lot of the guys that are on my little
They
group,
did finally get the
my
X-Men
local group
ones.
collect.
Remember?
Yeah.
Up at Walmart.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
did get them.
It's no use now because we got all.
We
of
got the
them.
ones we wanted.
Yeah, so they're up there for someone else up for grabs. But like, but that mystery, whoever they are, it also gets on my nerves because as Mr. E Mini entitled, the ones in Walmart, this guy, this girl, whoever it is, comes in and picks out the front like two and one of the like three from the middle row, and that's usually where the best ones are, like the rare ones, the harder ones to find. So by the time I get there, all that's left are like ones I'm stuck with.
scrubs.
So it's almost like, you know, like in Star Wars, like when there's people like going for a bounty or something. It's like somebody's out getting all the good ones before I can get to it.
With the blast shield down,
I
you can't even see.
see.
Yeah. So yeah, he was cool.
It's just upsetting.
All of a sudden, hey, and then he.
We
gets
talked. We
held
had a
up for
lengthy
Han Solo.
conversation about that the other day. That the whole sequence on Endor was just full of nothing but a bunch of like silly, just because I want to laugh about it again. Actually, like they get there and. First is the reconnaissance mission, and Leia just runs off and grabs the thing, and Luke does the whole Leia, the whine that he does. So then, you know, they're separated, and then they get to the bunker stuff. Oh, and the Ewoks got 3PO, and like 3PO, tell them that if you don't let us free, you will anger them, and you will unleash your wrath upon them. And then he does the whole like floating thing. And then the Ewoks are clinging on him and all that stuff. And remember that Han at one point gets like, you know, like he tells 3PO, get this. And he's like, what are you waiting for? Do it quick. And he gets all like mad at him. Then you got him to, hey. And then, you know, Han does the whole tap, like, whoop, and then runs away. The best though comes in when they're in the bunker, because like get in there and Han's getting all like real mad at all of them. He's like, move out of the way, move out. And he's like getting all the guns and stuff. And once the Imperials come back outnumber him, they run in that one after, you rebel scout. And he says it with the most disgust and discontempt ever. And then they get out, you know, and so he just keeps adding, and then, you know, R2 gets, you know, shot by the thing when they're trying to get in. And, maybe this will work, and he hits the wires and the door's just closing more. And of course the shot, you know, where all the Ewoks comes up, and he does the whole, like, you know.
Yes.
It's just a hilarious sequence, like, of events.
And although we didn't get Darth Maul, I did get
had
my
a
Darth
drawing
Maul,
of Darth Maul.
my Darth Maul drawing framed by my buddy Steve Hamilton, who's on here as Rabbit Hammer. So check out his channel. I'll put a link in the description. But I finally got the drawing he sent me when we did a fig thing, traded. I think it turned really, really good of Darth Maul.
That's like...
He's a very, very good artist.
You just took a playbook right out of Deadman's chest. Remember at the beginning?
Check him out.
They were like... Remember, like, the guys on the crew, when Jack came back, he's like, do you have a key? And then he's like, even better, we have a drawing of a key.
Ooh.
Because it's like, you know, we didn't get Darth Maul, but we have a drawing of Darth Maul.
But that's all the pickups.
It's been eventful.
Going to take a brief intermission. And I'll come back with the Metal Minute. Okay, so Tankster here with the Metal Minute. If you don't know, I've been singing in bands for 30-some years, and I'm a big rocker, so I always take time to do some music news for those. I found out that a lot of guys that are into what we're into are like this type of music too, so I always do a little rocker news there for you. So the big news right now is that Dave Mustaine of Megadeth has found his throat cancer. I think he has a good prognosis from what I've seen, so hopefully he will get on the mend and get back to doing what he does best. So nothing but well wishes to Dave. Most of the music world send their well wishes to him. Black Label Society has announced their tour for this coming summer and fall with the Black Dahlia Murder and the Alien Weaponries bands along with them. So that'll be interesting. I've never seen Black Label Society. Would love to see Zach and the guys. I'll rock it out. The master recordings of Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, Soundgarden, Nirvana's, some of their albums were destroyed in the Universal Studios fire recently. So very sad there. I'm hoping with all the digital technology that's out there these days, though, that they will be able to save some of that somehow. Just from what's already out there. So that the original recordings are gone. And a little segue from speaking of Guns N' Roses, Slash has announced that they are currently working on a new album, and they have announced some fall tour dates. So you guys that are Guns N' Roses fans out there, I'm sure you'll appreciate that. Ronnie James Dio, they started filming his documentary. Lots of his fans, great, one of the greatest vocalists of all time, are eager to see it, and it would be great to see basically his life story captured for everyone to enjoy. So very excited about that. In, I believe it or not, action figure related news, they have announced that Pantera has statues coming out this fall of the whole classic band. So I've seen photos of them online. They look really cool. If you get a chance to go and look them up, I'm sure you'll find them. But yeah, man, that's going to be pretty awesome. So if you've collected a lot of the rock figures like McFarlane did and some of the pop figures and all that, you'll be able to get your Pantera statues. So just look for that this coming fall. I think you can pre-order them now, and they may be limited number if I remember correctly. A new Freddie Mercury song was released yesterday called "Time Waits for No One." It's excellent. The music video is up on YouTube. Check it out. You get a chance. Really brought him back into life, and great hearing his feeling and his vocal talent, and even his breathing on it. Again, it just brought him back to life once again for us. And also just announced the Heart and Joan Jett tour will be through the summer and fall. So if you like those rockin' ladies, go check them out. And that's Tank's Metal Minute. Okay, but guys, Crazy H back with me here. That's going to pretty well wrap it up for this edition of More Ring Wars. I'd like to thank all of you guys that have newly subscribed. I've had a nice little bunch of you subscribe. Thank you very much, and thank you for some of the kind words you've had and the compliments of my last hunt video. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate all the positive energy out there. And I can tell the channel's growing because I'm starting to see some negative energy as well. Just in thumbs down, which I was really annoyed. I don't see how anybody can thumbs down stuff. It's just like it isn't like we're on here kidnapping children or killing kittens or
probably something I said
or something.
Because usually I say
thumbs down.
I have a tendency.
It's funny, but thanks for watching. Everybody has their opinion, which is fine. But we really appreciate your help, and I ask you to please like this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and please share it with your friends and ask them to join the party, because we like to have a good time and share our collection with everyone, and our love for all things pop culture with everyone. So thank you guys very much. So I'll put a couple links to some people I talked about in the description. And any final words from the craziest of H's?
Not really, just reminiscing about the strange period that we're entering into of the of culture as we know it. So
Endgame coming out, Far From Home coming out here soon. Gonna have some good things to talk about coming up. So anyway, I'm gonna shut her down here. So for more Ring Wars, Breath Tank Downey.
Craziest of all H's.
Craziest of all H's. Thank you very much, and just remember to do one random act of kindness for somebody this week to help them make a difference in their life, because that's what it's all about, folks.
As my 8th grade math teacher said, eat your fruits and vegetables, drink your milk, and tell your parents you love them.
Exactly. So But yeah, be nice. Be kind to each other. See you guys later. Keep rocking. Peace.